Thanks, Fiona. Hello, welcome to Midlands Today with me, Nick Owen. The headlines tonight. 70,000 complaints. Now a major BBC investigation into a foul-smelling landfill site in Staffordshire.
We are still under siege. We are still being affected by the smell. Although the data has got better, it's still there.
We'll be asking an environmental expert why there's such a huge problem and how it can be solved. Also this evening, celebrating 40 years, the Gloucestershire school teaching disabled people to fly.
I've always wanted to become a pilot, and that was kind of put on hold when my diagnosis came about. And then I got to sit in a plane and I didn't feel disabled anymore.
Strike up the band. We're on the spot as a special music video is recorded to speed the Sky Blues on their way to Wembley.
And summer beckons in late spring. Temperatures are rising with a bank holiday weekend on the way, full of promise. I'll be here later with all the details.
Good evening. More than 70,000 complaints have been made about a controversial landfill site in North Staffordshire over the last 2 years. In the first 3 months of this year alone, there were more than 1,000 complaints about the continued smell coming from Walleys Quarry at Silverdale in Newcastle-under-Lyme. Thousands of residents live near the site, and some say hydrogen sulphide levels have affected their health. They've been speaking to the BBC's Panorama programme, as Laura May McMullen reports.
My fear has always been is to go in his bedroom in the morning and you know, it's been fatal. Because that's how bad the cough and the wrenching and everything else has been.
Becky Curry has always lived less than half a mile from Walleys Quarry in Newcastle-under-Lyme. Her 7-year-old son Matthew was born prematurely with medical conditions, including chronic lung disease, unrelated to the landfill. She started filming him because she was convinced gas emissions from the landfill were making his condition worse.
Mummy, I got wheezing.
According to a doctor treating her son, she was right to be worried.
Matthew, can I have a little listen to your chest?
Dr. Martin Samuels says Matthew's underlying health conditions have been aggravated by the landfill.
I think the environmental impact has been significant. It's been a struggle for us to treat him, and I think the gas has been a very likely factor in all of that.
Up to 400 tonnes of waste is dumped at Walleys Quarry every year. When waste breaks down, it can produce the gas hydrogen sulphide, which smells like rotten eggs.
Stop bursting! Stop bursting!
At high concentrations, the gas is toxic. Air quality monitors installed by the Environment Agency in March 2021 showed that hydrogen sulphide levels repeatedly breached World Health Organization odour guidelines.
It's scary really, because if they were protecting us, that quarry would have had the licence suspended.
By they, she means the Environment Agency, which has the power to shut the landfill down.
Walleys Quarry has now reached the worst possible compliance level, which is Band F, and that's for non-compliance of its permit conditions. Since 2017, there's been almost 90 breaches.
No, it absolutely isn't acceptable, and that's what we are working to stop. That there is obviously going to be a level of odour associated with a landfill site, but we will make sure that that is within acceptable levels, and that is what our regulation and our enforcement aims to achieve.
Walleys Quarry Ltd say
it remains committed to significant investment in on-site improvement works. These have already resulted in demonstrable, substantial and sustained progress. The Environment Agency's own reporting data shows significant long-term reductions in emissions, and complaints have fallen by 90%.
Yet, almost 5 years on, residents say they're still suffering.
We are still under siege. We are still been affected by the smell, and although the data has got better, it's still there. It's still not good enough.
And for Matthew and his mum, life goes on. Becky says she won't rest until the life of the landfill comes to an end. Laura May McMullen, BBC Midlands Today, Silverdale.
Well, John Galvin is a waste regulation specialist and told me the Environment Agency have a lot of options to tackle problems at landfill sites such as Walleys Quarry.
Their principal role is to protect human health and the environment, and they have powers of inspection. They can serve enforcement notices, which I understand they've done. They can suspend permits. They can even revoke permits in some circumstances, although that might not be appropriate here. And they can prosecute for breaches. So there are plenty of powers. It's about doing the right things at the right time.
Now, this powerful smell is caused by the gas hydrogen sulfide. What is the normal cause of that gas?
Well, hydrogen sulfide can be generated from anything that's got a lot of sulfates in it, and one of the most common candidates for that is gypsum, which is used in plasterboard, and therefore is generated a lot in the construction industry. And the problem is that sulfates in landfill sites where there are biodegradable waste break down through the bugs in the system to form hydrogen sulfide, which is both smelly at low concentrations and potentially harmful to health in higher concentrations.
But this quarry says they don't take it, although of course they do take general construction waste.
It's been mentioned that in the Environment Agency's audit that they take trommel fines, and trommels are basically big screening plants that take in construction waste and soil and other materials. And construction waste inevitably is contaminated with gypsum, and therefore sulfates could be present there, and they could end up in the landfill site. That's why it's very important that things like fines from trommels are assessed, their composition tested before it's decided where in a landfill they can and cannot go.
Now, it looks as though the site should reach capacity in about 2026. Does that mean the problem goes away, or will it go on for years to come as things break down?
How long the problem lasts really depends on how much is already there, whether it's widespread throughout the site, whether it's in one confined area. And obviously, it will go on until that sulfate has been converted to hydrogen sulfide.
John Galvin, thank you very much. And you can watch Panorama's investigation tonight at 8 o'clock here on BBC One. The number of asylum seekers being supported